In a dramatic ruling with huge implications, not just locally, but around the country, a federal judge sided with the city and state in blocking the National Guard from deploying here in Illinois, at least temporarily. Now, here to discuss this decision and what it means going forward, we have Congressman Mike Quigley of the 5th District. Congressman Quigley, thanks for being here this morning. We appreciate it, sir.
Glad to be back. Thank you.
All right, so let's just get your reaction to the judge's decision. What stood out to you about her ruling?
Look, I think it's interesting that the Biden-appointed judge in Chicago and the Trump-appointed judge in Portland basically said the same thing, that sporadic protester violence is not a rebellion. And I thought it was very telling when you heard them talk about the fact that we are a country of constitutional law, not martial law. So pretty strong language supporting those cities' desire not to have this intrusion.
Okay, she has said that this ruling is in effect for at least 14 days. We expect the written decision to be released a little bit later today, Congressman. Seems like this fight, though, is far from over. We've heard the Trump administration allude to the fact that they could invoke the Insurrection Act to kind of get around this. What could be next here?
This president's capable of anything, and that is pretty scary. There is no insurrection. So this is a president basically not trying to secure, but to scare. This is an intimidation tactic that goes along with threatening to jail duly elected officials. So at this point in time, I think what Chicago needs to do is, if they're going to protest, do this peacefully and understand the importance. We often have seen in this world lawfully elected leaders through the democratic process turn the tools of democracy against itself. We saw it in Russia and we saw it in Hungary. So I think there's a broader picture here of a president weaponizing the Justice Department, Department of Defense, Federal Communications Commission. We have to be aware this is a strong turn toward autocracy.
Okay, but there's a lot of people in the Republican Party aligned with the Trump administration who says these ICE agents are facing so much hostility simply trying to enforce the immigration laws that are already on the books in America, and they need to be protected. So what do you say to those folks?
Look, no one should do any violence, commit any violence against anyone. I think we have to appreciate the fact that what they're doing here isn't keeping us secure. They're saying that they're going after the worst of the worst. They're throwing women to the ground. They're scooping tamale vendors. I've been throughout the city during this time, and what we're seeing is kids afraid of going to the doctor, to school, women afraid to go into the domestic violence courthouse to get an order of protection. We're seeing businesses in Pilsen and Little Village suffer 20 to 50% loss because they're afraid of going out into public, whether they have a green card or not. I've been to food pantries, I've been to shelters where the numbers are down because people are afraid to go out in public. That's a great concern.
Mike, before we let you go, I do want to get your take on the ongoing government shutdown. From your point of view, how long do you feel like this thing is going to last? And what is your message to folks who are feeling a little bit of inconvenience as a result of this standoff?
Look, I think the pain's only started. I mean, the fact is, most people have gotten their paychecks. Next week, the military doesn't get theirs. Soon after, the air traffic controllers. I think even worse, as early as next week or the week after, the WIC program, which feeds kids and mothers, that program could be slowing down and perhaps ground to a halt. So look, this matters. But what's at stake matters too. I'm not in D.C. We're not in session. We were told that the Republicans aren't going to negotiate. We're simply trying to restore Medicaid cuts. Otherwise, 37,000 kids in Illinois are going to lose their health care coverage. We're trying to restore the health care tax credits for those. Otherwise, 20 million Americans are going to see their health premiums double. So these are issues worth fighting for, but the problem is there's no one to negotiate with.
Well, you will buckle in and be prepared for a marathon, not a sprint. Congressman Mike Quigley of the 5th District, thank you for your time, sir.
Thank you.
Appreciate it.